Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January of 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. All right. Hey, everybody. We back.
We're back. We're back and we're live.
I'm Spencer, and of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun,
Dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun.
dun, 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 dun. I'm wearing my dun, 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 dun.
Bet you are. All right. Remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's completely up to you.
That's right. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So, before we get into it, BetterHelp. You can get 10% off your first month of therapy if you use the code DSP or just by hitting the link betterhelp.com/DSP. Uh, please do so. We would love for you to not only get help, but then also
Yeah.
help your own podcast that you're watching right now also thrive and, get some support in there. So
Correct.
please help out and also please give yourself help. That's all it's all about.
Yeah.
Want to make sure you're getting help and that you're doing better for yourself. So
Correct.
check out BetterHelp and use our code if you are going to try it out. So with that, today we are doing an episode on X-Men 97. That's right. That's right. Just came out, new continuation of the X-Men series that was out in like 92.
Okay.
Um, one topic we were talking about today, genocide. Yeah,
That's the topic.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the past, what's happening right now. It's going to be a main topic that we were talking about, and it's a main theme for the X-Men.
Yep.
So we're going to be talking about that. Yeah. So, Nas, anything before we get into the show?
Interesting thing. Story time. Remember, we're doing story time before. Unrelated.
I thought that was just a one episode thing. Nope.
It's every episode.
Oh, okay. Yep. I get to talk before we talk more in the middle and the end.
Correct. You can't. God damn it.
Yep.
I called you Colin. You know what you need, Spence?
What?
A chill pill. 100 milligram chill pill.
I'm just gonna shut off my computer. How about that? That'll be my chill pill.
You're like my last Zoom date. I'm done with you. I loved you. I having these closing sessions with students. This is interesting. And I was in this meeting on Wednesday, and no one says anything. Right, it's end of the year. Everyone wants to get out. I said, "Well, fuck, I'll say something." I said, "I'm sad as shit." I said, "Because I'm saying goodbye to all these babies. Some of them I've been working with for years. They're graduating. They're moving on. Right? It's just magnificent. The love, the sadness, the fear for them, the fear that they're having without me. A lot of emotions, right?" And one of the homies were coming in. It's amazing that you can take someone that's devastated in so many different ways, mental stuff, physical stuff, sexual abuse, definitely autistic, got that diagnosed, eating disorder was pervasive. And then you take someone that can't eat Spence. No one will even work with them. No one will touch them. I take care of them, hide them on my roster, get them where I need to be. And I said, look, we're going to eat some cheesecake. I'm going to give you a book. And we're going to have a good time, and we're going to say goodbye over sweets. I'm not eating in front of you. I said, you going to eat? I'll get shit if you throw the shit up afterwards. You're going to eat it with me.
Eat it.
I ain't a therapist no more. You're going to eat this shit. You're going to like it.
Oh my God.
Story comes full circle. I'm Googling the store that I want to buy it from. This awesome pastry shop in town. I've taken Spencer to it. We bought like 1 million pastries once. Google that shit. It's closed on Mondays. I see them on Monday. That's some bullshit, bro. It's some bull. So I'm going to go in there empty fucking handed tomorrow.
Yep. Why didn't you buy it before?
I thought it was be open on Mondays. It's normal. Mondays? You close on the Monday.
Now?
Huh? Yeah, just check now. I just assumed it'd be open on Monday.
Why wouldn't you check before?
I was going to get it Monday fresh on Monday. Fresh pastry Monday.
They're not even going to eat it in front of you. It doesn't matter if it's fresh or not.
Some fucking bullshit, man. I'm so fucking mad.
You're going to have to go to like Sam's Club, get one.
I know. No, I Googled this place in town. It's open at 8 a.m. So I'm going to wake up, grab this shit. This is my favorite human. And then we're going to sit down. And it ain't going to be cheesecake. So they're going to be disappointed. But, we're going to eat some other shit.
Oh, no. I have to eat other sweets.
I know. They're going to die. They're literally going to die. All right. So shout out to all you therapists that are working with your clients and going through terminations. I know it can be devastating.
Yeah. Shout out to you. Get some cheesecake for them.
Shout out to the kids. Shout out to you taking care and loving these kids. I know it's hard. Don't act like it's not hard. Shit's fucking terrible. If you want to cry with them, cry. All right. Let's get into genocide. Like a transition?
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
Be animals and be caged.
Let us see how their mob manners fare against the shock of good conduct. Magneto!
Storm!
The breeze is gone. I cannot feel it. Nor the moisture, nor the air. What has he done to me?
Magneto, this was not what we wanted.
Lies. This is your dream. My kind splayed before you, powerless and afraid. All the X-Men have done is use their awesome power to protect a world that hates and fears them. Behold their reward. What must we do to be good enough? Is this the High Road's destination? If so, I say, as I have too many times before, never again.
Let us go! No!
Oh dear. Bigot, ingrate, sycophant, worm. So small I could smite you with a step. There was a time I would smite you all for what was done to Storm. But today, I have saved you from your own. For an old friend has challenged me to remember this view of Earth. How vast it is versus how small we make it. Charles Xavier entrusted me with his dream, and it does not ask you to love or embrace my kind as your own, but merely to accept that this is a shared world with a common future, and that my kind, like yours, have the right to live in it. I am trying to be better. Please. Do not make me let you down.
You should message them. Use a hologlobe. Invite them to the wedding. Unless you fear they'll think you've abandoned them. You've earned a life of your own, Charles, and I need you. Once we crush the Kree, an educator such as you can teach them our ways. Do as you did on Earth. Play the role of the peacemaker.
Wasn't aware my X-Men and I were playing make-believe. Much like my legs in this armor's exoskeleton.
All ruling is make-believe. I pretend to be perfect, as my subjects would never love the woman beneath the armor. Not like you do. Never pretend with me.
Will you at least consider Earth?
I will. But I remind you, Charles, the virtue of a teacher lies in showing their students how to walk on their own.
True, but only if he is sure there are no more lessons he can teach them.
Mom, these killer robots are trying to kill me!
We do not kill mutants. We save them. Stand down.
Meu filho, do what the men say.
In Genosha, I felt a lot of things. Pain, grief, admiration for those who fought despite the odds. But you know what the oddest thing was? No one seemed shocked or surprised. Not even me. Yes, I was scared, but really, I just had the most profound sense of déjà vu. As if past, present, and future didn't matter and never had. Because we always end up in the same ugly place. Thing is, Magneto knows us better than Charles ever did. Knows we know better. That most of us experience tragedies like Genosha as a bit of déjà vu before getting on with our day. But the scariest thing about Genosha wasn't the death or the chaos. It was a thought. The only sane thought you can have when being chased by giant robots that were built to crush you. Magneto was right.
Enough.
Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toynk Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toynk. So go check them out at toynk.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today. We back again.
We back. We're back and we're live, just like my student diabetes shock they about to get tomorrow.
Goodbye, Toe. Didn't need you.
You said goodbye, Toe. Thought you said I gotta buy it, Toe.
Well, they will.
It's like Fallout when they sew the finger back on.
Yeah. Yeah, what a lovely series. So, like I said before, doing X-Men 97. It's a continuation of the old school animated series. That was in 92. Main creator, Bo DeMeo, who was mysteriously let go for I think after the first episode, or like right around when the first episode was coming out, something like that. Still don't know why. He got fired. But he's somehow still involved a little bit because he came out with like a tweet saying like, hey, you should check out these episodes from the old series so that then you can understand, what's happening in the story for the new series.
Okay.
Which was interesting because like you got fired. So what's happening here?
Yeah.
So gonna be a little cautious on that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They just immediately fired dude, but he did an amazing job with the show.
Yeah.
So many current events that could be related to the show. Also, just keeping it drama / on your toes the whole time. I have no idea like what was going to happen next for each episode. So yeah, did a great job. Shout out to Bo, because this show is amazing.
It is.
So like I said, it's a continuation, but a little bit of a backstory. Professor X, Dr. Xavier, is supposedly dead. And so Magneto took over the X-Men, or the school at least, and now he's like the dean. Yes, X Squad. And so now he's taking over for Charles. And one big thing that's a little bit different is that Magneto is trying to be more compassionate. Yeah, compassionate towards humans, because that's what Xavier wanted. He wanted everybody to, be together and make sure that everyone is getting along nicely. Come to find out that there's this secret underground organization that's trying to still kill the mutants. So,
always is. Always is.
That doesn't sound familiar at all. Very, extremist views trying to take over the world. Maybe even try to take over the White House.
Jesus.
This doesn't sound familiar at all.
January 6th.
Not specific at all.
No.
And so now they're really trying to struggle to um, not only fight off people who are trying to get rid of mutants as a whole, but also trying to get rid of the stigma, I guess, of the mutants, right? There's this in the first episode they talked about, oh, I'm the good mutant, right? I'm one
Yep.
of the good ones. And they don't see that. They don't see mutants in that light. They see them as all of them,
All bad.
all bad. So in the first scene that we watched, they were making a plea to the UN
Yep.
about making sure that mutants can, live peacefully. Um, and uh, and then all of a sudden it was crashed by these terrorists. And Storm was shot with this gun that made her human. She lost all of her powers.
Neurotypical. They,
My tism's gone. Ah.
they took my Tesla, motherfucker. Must have been
Just started looking everybody in the eyes, just like, hello, nice to meet you.
Like, why did I
Ah,
collect all these Pokemon?
the hell?
Why did I catch all these?
Why do I not want to play Dungeons and Dragons anymore?
Did I take a shower?
My teeth? What? Anyways, and of course, this leads Magneto to have this great talk to these people at the UN, just being like, this is what you wanted the whole time? Is this what you wanted us to be like you? To conform? And then, he takes them all up into space and I can just show, he's just like, don't make me be cruel to you. Just don't make me do it. All right. I made a promise to my friend that I would try to harmonize with everybody. Don't make me regret that. Great scene. I love the fact that they're still keeping just how powerful Magneto is, and um, they're still keeping that theme of where like Professor X is like Martin Luther King, and then Magneto's kind of the Malcolm X, but now we see that Magneto's trying to conform and be a little bit more patient with the humans and being like, hey, I made this promise and I'm going to keep it. So let's try to work together on this.
We ain't gonna kill all you. We're not a separationists. We might, we like it. We don't really need you, but we like, but I fuck you, but we don't need you. I'm just saying that's the vibes.
I'd fuck you.
So yeah, that's a great. If people said that before, Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
But the thing is that a lot of people try to disprove this, and they're like, "No, it's not this." But you can really see the similarities.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like Professor X wants integration, wants everybody to kind of meld together, wants
Correct.
the mutants and humans to be alike. And then you see Magneto, he's like, fuck that. I want everyone to be separated. We are a higher life form.
Yep.
Right? So.
Yep. Because that's what he was. He was a segregationist or separationist, whatever you want to call it in Star Wars. Right? It's the kind of the separate but equal, but we live on our own. You go over here, we go over here. Don't fuck with us. We don't need you. Don't kill our people. And then he changed after that, right after all the White Devil stuff. All right. Good correlation. Good parallel there.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
So back where we're at. So you were talking about, right, this. I'm sorry I threw you off because I cut in with a question. So you were talking about that. And then what else about these two? Oh, you're talking about Magneto and who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And so Magneto, if you don't know, Holocaust survivor.
Whole family.
Yes. Yeah.
Died.
Holocaust survivor. And you really see why he hates humanity as much as he does.
Yep.
Because they took away his parents, took away a lot of people, a lot of his whole race of people.
Yep.
And we've seen it in past, like in movies and everything like that, especially with the prequel X-Men movies,
yep.
Where they really leaned into that and how he's never going to go back to that place again, where they're marking him on his arm like they did all of his other people.
Yep.
And he's not going to go back to that again. And he's going to make sure that nobody is going to go through that genocide again. So,
Yep. There's a one scene that we didn't capture where he's talking to the dude that made the collar, or someone's talking to the, he said, I've seen these before where you lock people up, right? And you assign them things and you keep them. I've seen this before. Okay. This what you're going to do? Okay. And then they reference him locked up in those chains. We see it at the last scene with his number, the serial number on there from Auschwitz. Very powerful moment. Very powerful moment. Right. Yeah. So it's interesting. Spence, before we get into things, did you grow up watching this?
Here and there, I mainly watched like the Spider-Man show.
Okay.
Really love that one, the old cartoon. Don't get me wrong, absolutely love the X-Men.
I see it.
But one show I actually grew up on, what was it called again? Give me 1 second. It was called X-Men. It was like the new generation. What was it? X-Men Evolution. That was it. So that was a different form of the X-Men show.
Yeah.
But it was for that generation audience.
Yeah.
Love that show.
Okay.
Loved it. Came out around the same time like the first X-Men movie came
Oh,
out.
okay.
Like around there. Yeah. Just love that show. But yeah. So I grew up a little bit. What about you?
Yeah. No, I did watch it. Yeah, I don't remember much of it, but I do remember watching it when I got home. Definitely watched
that theme song.
It took me a second to remember that. I grew up watching the Spider-Mans for sure.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how much you forget. I mean, we're talking close to 30 years ago for me.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, you're talking at least 25 years ago, at least. I mean, that's a long time, man. I mean, me and you were just talking about earlier about, my graduation with my doctorate was just literally to the day a year ago. Yeah. It's like, wow, so much has happened and yet nothing's happened. So remember something from 25 years ago when I was a complete fucking idiot? No. ADHD. I mean, I was still pissing everywhere. Yeah. I was not potty trained.
Did you have a favorite character at all?
So that's what I was going to ask you. So those of you folks, let us know. We're going to actually use that as a question on Spotify. What's your favorite character in X-Men? In the real live action stuff, it was always Wolverine. But then I started to get more of the Magneto vibes towards the end. And now it's like 100% all in on Magneto because of all the backstory, the hate, the rage, the love, the compassion, the sadness, the trauma. Love all the Wolverine stuff though. In the movies, or actually in the show, like even this show, it's still Magneto, but it's because who I like him to be now because of the live action.
Right.
It's a tough one, man. I mean, like he said in there, Storm's pretty much a god.
Yeah.
It's either Storm or Wolverine when I was a kid. Can't really remember, but for some reason, there's always this attraction towards Storm, and not like a Szechuan one, not like a Szechuan, Szechuan chicken one.
I liked her too because she was married to T'Challa for a little bit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they were together. Black Panther.
It's black love. It's
black on black.
It's black on black love. Fuck you, Fox News.
Black on black. That's it. Black on black.
Black on black.
Black on black.
It's like Friday Night Lights. Oh, it was always the black Nikes. Yeah. What about you? So you thinking Storm or no? You got someone else? Wolverine.
No, so my two favorite probably Cyclops and Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler's is Homegirl's son, right?
Mystique. Yep.
Mystique's son. Okay, yeah, I put that together at the end there.
Yeah. So actually, if you go back to like the prequel, there's this character named Azazel or some shit.
Yeah.
He's like the red demon looking guy who can teleport.
Yep. Oh, there you go.
That's his dad. So Mystique and him had a baby.
And Mystique in those shows, that was Homegirl, right?
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good, low.
Yeah.
You're good.
And then you could
Szechuan
tell she was
chicken.
done when what was that one you like? What was that one
Dark.
X-Men movie you like?
Oh, Apocalypse.
Yeah, she
Yep.
was done after
Yep.
that. She was so done with getting painted blue and
Yep.
shit
She was
that you
done.
could tell
They said it
she
took
was just
hours and
like,
hours and hours. Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
I'm never doing this character again.
Yep. And then Apocalypse tanked, but the story, if figured out in some different ways, the storyline, the Magneto, Auschwitz, like it was all there. The rage, it had some good meat to it. And then everyone hated Dark Phoenix when it came out. I mean, they hated Dark. They hated that actress too, so that hurts because she
was good. I like her as an actress. I don't know if I liked her as Jean Grey, but
most people hate her as an actress. They say that she's just too stoic and reserved and quiet. It's because of the whatchamacallit. Not Winter Soldier.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Because of Game of Thrones. They hate her in Game of Thrones, and her acting in that was bad. So the acting in that movie wasn't bad. Wasn't she married to one of the Jonas Brothers? Yeah.
I think she still is.
No, I think they broke up.
Oh, never mind.
She's free.
You can do anything you want. Go back to Winterfell.
Winterfell? Winterfest? No, it's not Winterfall. It's probably Winterfell.
We're dumb as fuck. All right, whatever.
Yeah, they do them.
We know all pop culture.
All pop cultures. Did you name your favorite or no?
Yeah, I fucking said Nightcrawler and Cyclops.
Oh, there you go. You did. Okay.
Like everybody everybody hated Cyclops. No joke. Everybody hated
Probably because
Cyclops.
he's like a rule follower, like autistic as shit.
Yeah, it's just like Leonardo. Everybody fucking hates Leonardo because he's just like, following the rules
captain.
and shit.
Got to be the leader. Yep.
Yeah. And also a lot of the times in the movies and stuff, they shitted on him.
They do.
In Last Stand.
Yeah.
They fucking murdered him and that was it. And you're like, cool.
Yep. Cool. I can see that. A lot of folks don't like those rule followers. I can see Spencer as a little kid, hella rule follower. Like, I love him.
Also, he shot fucking lasers out of his eyes.
Correct.
Who wouldn't want that?
Just saying. I shoot it too. Pervert.
I feel it. And also Nightcrawler, he just has such a great story of being like abandoned by Mystique and just growing up with like these regular parents, but he's blue and and then he's such a badass. He's a swordsman. He can cut motherfuckers and then just teleport places. Love him.
Love him. Mexican Purple Man.
Yep, definitely Mexican.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the show, they give him like a British accent.
German.
Yeah, German, British. Yeah.
No, he's German.
German? Well, can't all be winners.
Those people.
Okay, there you go. I mean, it's been a while. It's a weird coincidence. Story time. Very small one. I bought some stuff for my car, the trailers and this and that. And I bought this X-Men like steel tailpipe thing or trailer hitch thing. It's sick as hell. Blue car. It's fucking black and yellow X-Men logo. It's going to go right in the butt of it.
Nice.
I'm painting the calipers yellow. I was supposed to get to that this week, and then I just got caught up doing other stuff. But it's going to be sick. So it's just kind of cool. Like it's all coming out at the same time.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, we'll pivot into the show.
Yeah.
That first scene at the UN, were you feeling some type of way? Because that was a magnificent crescendo, traumatic. She loses her powers. Because I'm going in a whole autistic mental health, like mental illness type of vibe from that. But I told you, I sent you a screenshot of it. And I mean, I was so choked up from it. Like, and it wasn't like a sad thing. It was like so emotionally charged and heavy that I couldn't breathe and I got teary eyed.
Right.
For you, did that scene like impact you when you first saw it? Were you like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I would say it was like, what the fuck? But also, you see it coming because it's just so a part of life now where it's just like all the hatred and shit.
Hatred.
Yeah, and you're willing to just do anything to get rid of these people, right? Yeah. And then you're like, and then I will say with Magneto, it was interesting because I thought he was going to kill him.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, definitely did. But just seeing that he had that restraint on him because he made a promise to his friend was just, I thought was even more amazing. Because that takes a lot of strength to do that. Because let's be honest, he could just, if he wanted to, he could
Annihilate
murder everybody.
everybody. Showed a lot of resistance, resiliency,
Yeah.
maturity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I love the scene. Now I probably didn't feel the same way as you did when it came to just that emotional
Yeah.
stuff, but when it comes to just the fact that it's a very powerful scene, um, because we have to always kind of show that restraint when we're in these real situations,
Yeah.
or else we're going to be labeled as monsters, or we're going to be those people that they want us to be.
Yeah.
So
Look at you, you hoodlum, you
yeah.
thug, you thugs. You're right. For me, it was the intersections of what it represents. He was representing the sadness and the pain, right? This black woman just got her powers taken. That's horrific to me. That I think about, obviously autism related things and how people wanted to cure autism, how they want to eradicate it with behavior modification, behavior analytics analysis, how they want to modify it out of people's behavior, identity, nomenclature, all of it. They want to erase that from your humanity. I think of that. I think of like these mutants, the gifts that we're given. I get it. Autism is disabling, bipolar, depression, OCD, very disabling, gets in the way. It also has helped create a lot of magnificent things in this world that we currently have today because of some of these illnesses and disorders. When it comes to music, art, creativity, mindfulness, all of it, mathematics. This is because of people being neurodivergent, being different, aka mutant. We've talked about mutants before with the turtles. There's a different type of mutant. I think of mental illness as, everyone hates us. Everyone hates us. And I posted something the other day. It's hard to love someone that's depressed or anxious, right? There's a lot of that goes into it. It's not easy, right? With your partner that struggles with some stuff, right? It's not every day. It's just a walk in the park. Like you have to show up for them.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe it's a burden on the system when it comes to autism or severe mental health issues, but it doesn't mean you throw away the person. We don't throw away the person. That's not humanity, right? This is old quote. I forgot one of the presidents, I think, is you realize who your country is by the way you treat your sick, your ill, and your elderly. We would do a pretty shit job of that right now. I forgot who said that famous quote. But we do a horrible job at that in America. I was talking to someone. I said, it takes me 3 months to see a dermatologist, see if the bump I got on my back is a tumor. I know it's not, but like I'm using it to be dramatic. I was like, shit, in Europe, they complain how they can't, healthcare is horrible over there. So all Americans say, they're getting in a couple of weeks. It took me 3 months. Like, I'm paying money for this insurance. We don't treat our elderly, our sick, our disabled. We're not affirming with it. We don't really give a shit about autism. Today about an autism group, I said, hey man, so when y'all book this stuff and I'm gone, make sure it's in this room for these reasons. Don't put a bunch of fucking autistic people in this hot ass room. It's cramped. It's hot. There ain't no TV for the games that we're supposed to be playing. Don't do that. Put us in the basement. That way we can be loud. No one can hear us, right? It's cool. The chairs are nice. Big ass TV. You put them other assholes up there. He's like, oh no, I try to put everyone up there. I didn't ask you what you try to do with everybody else. Doug. It's a real name. You putting these people in here because these reasons are just listed because they need it, not because they want it. Oh, I got it. Okay, bitch. Well, you better make sure you do it come fall. So we like to select out people, Spence. I'm going to talk about more of the genocide stuff at the end of the last clip. But we see it all the time, man. Is people, everything's about conformity. Everything's about conformity. And we've talked about it a million times in the podcast. Spencer's talked about it with your jobs and right. They strip things from us. We've talked about course corrections on what my dad tells me sometimes. Hey man, just be better. Just be A little bit better. You can still be you. I'm like, you stripping, just stop bringing up the innuendos. The who? just stop talking about dicks. That's one. And our humanity is the reason why we do this. Our humanity is the reason why people enjoy us and love us. It also could be the reason why people hate us and creeped out by us at times. Facts. But why should we want to get rid of that to be like everyone else that's most likely miserable? Why do people want to force us into this? So Magneto, he goes up there and he cries. I think that's why it was heavy, because he just saw his friend like lose everything. And he's so protective as me and you. And he's doing his best to regulate his emotions, his anger and his grief, to regulate his genocidal thoughts of terminating these people before they terminate us. If I kill you, you can't kill me. Dog eat dog world, right? Eye for an eye. I'm going to get your ass first before you get my eye. And that's a scary world, man, where you're always looking out for your own people. Like, being someone that's black or brown or queer, even just white women sometimes. I mean, it's got to be tough for folks no matter what. Doesn't matter what your identity is. But for some folks that's more marginalized, even worse. It's even worse. Me and my dad were talking about how these white guys are becoming like a small little segregated population in the next 10 years. I said, it's going to be really interesting. They still control almost all the power, right? For all these different things, but it's going to be really interesting in the next 10, 15, 20 years. And we'll see what things look like. Who knows? Everything can go to shit. But I mean, technically everything is kind of shit at times. So we'll see what happens when other people have a little bit more say. Humanity's greedy and a merciless son of a bitch. So it could all be terrible. But I feel like if there's different minds at the table that have been through a lot of trauma, it'll be a more affirming, welcoming, loving world. Because you have other people there. But, I missed the scene in X-Men where he talks about the oppressors become the oppressed, or the oppressed become the oppressors. Happens a lot. And they also talked about that in this really famous book that they made us read in school called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. I didn't understand a fucking word what it said, but it was magnificent. When the teacher talked about it, I was like, that makes sense.
Yes.
We're reading it? I got no fucking clue what's going on.
Nope.
That's my first book in grad school too. I'm like, I ain't read a book my whole life. This the shit you gave me? It's just Portuguese. Can't even spell Portuguese. Portugal who?
What the
I ain't no porch. Motherfucker.
Oh my God.
I didn't say it.
I know you didn't.
I know. Interesting scene. The gravity hit me very hard. Magneto being so protective and fighting his demons and his anger, magnificent. I see this as anyone that's different and they're trying to take it from you because they see it's bad. So continue to remember that. You want to see us like this, bent over, in front of you, begging? That sure does sound like a lot of interesting individuals in power. That sounds like a lot of individuals that wrote the Constitution and said one third of a man. Yeah. Interesting stuff. We ain't always assholes on this pod. We try to teach.
Sometimes.
That second scene, as we pivot, because we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of the pod in the last one. Mm-hmm. That second scene, now Spence, I'm at serious question. Hand up, serious question.
Sounds like a serious voice right now. Yep.
Am I the Mexican
autistic?
Xavier?
Oh, sorry.
Am I gay? Yes. Pass the pill. I was looking at the chill pill. Would you consider me to be the Xavier of mental health?
God, I consider you to be the beast of mental health.
He's smart, though.
He is smart, but he's big and hairy.
I take it. He got a girlfriend in any of the shows?
I think he's gay, but...
He got a boyfriend in any of the shows?
Nope, he's pretty much alone.
Damn, this spot on. Fuck. Well,
no.
It looks like I got a new person I like. And I remember in the live action shows, he's got a crush on Mystique, but he never pulls the trigger. So that literally sounds like me.
Let me see. Let me see real quick. Let me see if he actually has a
See,
partner.
look up if he's diddling anyone.
Jeez.
Who's he diddle? Who's he smell? I was at the baby shower today and the dog was smelling my ass. I said, damn, you getting all up in there, ain't you?
Go further, please.
They're opening all the gifts. I'm like, dude, what the hell is dog doing? It's shitting here.
Oh my God. Let's see. Yeah. I wonder. So let's see. Nobody really notable, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody really notable, but they're probably in there somewhere. Probably someone who watches or reads the comics and stuff will probably be like, actually,
he did it, Obama. I knew he was gay.
Wolverine and him just made just beast sex.
Yeah. So, funny question. I was wondering on who people identify as. So now we know I'm not Xavier. I thought it was Xavier, the group, the brains of the operation. I can psychoanalyze, I can baptize, I can philosophize a person's life. Do you want to know how it all ends?
Also, your legs don't work.
I don't work from the hip down.
I'll get there.
I just shit in the bucket. Spence, who would you be?
Who would I be? That's a good question. I
don't know.
Man, who would I be?
I'd be Beast, though. I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like
not
that.
Bad one. Not a bad one to be.
Cowl would be Juggernaut.
I'm the Juggernaut. Hey, that's Xavier's brother. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah. Gosh, it's so tough because there's so many characters to break down. I would think maybe there's this one called Morph. He changes.
Oh yeah, I like him in the show. Yeah.
Yeah, could shapeshift. He's just like a little bit of a jokester, a little bit of a jokester. Very lighthearted. So
I like that.
Maybe that.
There you go, Morph. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Folks, who's your favorite, but also who would you identify as?
Also, we could, as a podcast, at some point, after this comes out, we could take one of those quizzes that tells us what characters we are.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So maybe we'll do that, and then we'll put a link in. Who are you?
There we go.
Take this quiz. And who do you want to be?
We're going to put a link in to see who you are. For some reason, I know I'm going to be one of the old white ladies.
You're just going to be Jean Grey.
But old.
But old Jean Grey.
Dusty.
In the future.
Dusty Grey.
Sounds like a weird porn name. But all right.
Hey, she can get it,
She dusty, but you just blow on it and it's good.
She get it done, Okay, that second scene, you see Xavier talking to his soon-to-be wife. I don't even know. Did you even know who the hell that lady was?
Yeah, I looked it up. Her name is Empress Lalandra.
Yeah, so it's like this alternate universe and all that stuff, right? And like they're in love, going to get married, and she's convincing him to shed all his humanity and all his memories, so that way they can build his new life, because they're worried that he's going to force her to move back or bond her to the humans, Terran, Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it specifically because she talks about masking and hey, I have to be strong. No one wants to see the weak one. No one wants to see this one, the fragile one. No one wants to see me be quote unquote a woman. They want to see me be perfect, clean, representative, strong, masculine. No one wants to see Xavier crippled. They want to see him in this suit, strong, powerful, intelligent. And so think about that and how that projects down to everyone in our society now. Everyone must show this. On Instagram, everyone must show this. As soon as I DM them, hey man, I'm going through it, man. Hey man, I'm tired, man. I'm like, I'm getting it. You ain't got to explain it to me. But if all of you are suffering this bad, that's scary. I'm just offering you to have some fun on a podcast with me and Spence. It's just so scary on how everyone is trying to be perfect, but there's no such thing. So all of us feel miserable as shit. You can't show any disability. You finally get diagnosed with autism, ADHD, schizophrenia, bipolar. Can't ever tell anyone because, I probably won't get a job now. So, I mean, that's horrific. You're finally dating someone. We get you to date someone. Then you can't even tell them that you see a counselor, a therapist, because you're worried that they're going to think you're crazy. Well, I don't think that's a good partner then. Because if you don't feel like you can be honest and open with them, then who the fuck are you dating?
True.
Who are you dating? You can't tell them that you just work with me. Nothing's wrong with you. You just like the verbal process. This dude must be a piece of shit. No, I love them. All right, well, something's wrong. Something's wrong. This same person, after the breakup and all that, eventually, because dude was trash. They meet someone, they talk about mental health, therapy, wounds, all this stuff. I'm like, there you go. Now you're in a relationship. Before you were acting like some princess. The fuck? I just thought I was tripping, bro, because when he was walking, I'm like, what did I miss?
Did he heal? Did he heal?
And the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah. And they actually, that race of people too, they hate mutants too.
Yeah. Everybody hates mutants.
No matter what university you go to, they're just like, ew. No, we don't like that at all. And he shows him how powerful he is later on in the episode with like his mind
Yeah. He takes him to school.
Yeah. Takes him to school and tells him like, hey, actually, all your culture is just taking people and mowing them down.
You're oppressors.
And yeah, all you are oppressors, and you're keeping down all the like
new
talented,
cultures.
Yeah. And just keeping only the ones that fit you.
It's genocide.
Yeah, literally.
It's literally genocide of all these aliens, aka white folk.
Yeah.
That's all it is genocide. Everyone is genocidal.
They just conquer planets and just go like, well, we'll pick the ones that are actually going to be on our side, and we'll only keep those, and then we'll kill the rest. So, yeah.
You can't escape it, man. It makes me think about all the folks of color been through. Me and Spence were just talking about all the Native Americans that died. We can talk about black folk. I want to stick it. Native Americans. No one can even fathom the amount of humans. Spence, Google this real quick for me. How many Native Americans died when we conquered America? No, sorry, I said we. When the Spaniards got lost and found America. Because we talk about obviously the Jews and the genocide. We talk about the blacks and the slavery. I'm using races poorly here, but Africans that were taken from their homeland.
So it says, according to geographers from University College London, the colonization of the Americas by Europeans killed so many people, approximately 55 million, or 90% of the local populations.
55 million. Okay, I heard a different number somewhere else, so I'll look into that. But it's saying 55 million. Okay, 55 million.
Yeah.
That's a horrific genocide, which happened very quickly. How do you even comprehend 55 million? 55 million? I can't even comprehend, like, Purdue University is 50,000. Mm-hmm. That'd be like the whole, half the more than the nation.
Times like,
oh my God. Jesus. That'd be terrible. So you see all these genocides, just part of the culture. And so I love that it makes its way into film, into animation. This is a children's show. Well, now maybe not, but back then it was.
Yeah.
Cartoons.
There's some very steamy scenes going on there for a little bit.
Hey, most of that anime got, heavy breasted,
Magneto
heavy muscular.
He was in his little boxer shorts. You know what I'm saying?
That's I can't even say America's ass because he ain't American.
No, he's German or Polish.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then he was taken. He's German. But yeah, he's heavy chested. It's just interesting. You're right about the genocide. And the reason why I really picked it too is the perfectionism, but also, He said, "All right, don't you think you're done with the kids?" He said, "Yeah, I'm done. A mentor's done. A father's done. A therapist is done when they feel like they don't have to teach anymore.
Hmm.
There's no more lessons to be taught." And I was like, preach, brother. Snap, snap.
You tell it, boy, white man. You tell it.
Yes, queen.
Yes, queen.
Yep. I related to that.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, that last scene.
Yeah.
Spence, go ahead and give a little description of what the hell's going on leading into that scene.
All right. So this character, Bastion, it's a bad guy, pretty much doing is the leader of all this bad shit happening to the X-Men and just overall to mutants as a whole. And so he helped create these or was like the mastermind behind these sentinels, right? And these sentinels, all they are, they're pretty much just there to track down mutants
Yep.
and identifying them and then eliminate them, right? Um, and then so they made them to look like humans, or like um, somehow dipped them in this goo that turned them into androids and shit.
Yeah.
And like now they're like the perfect like mutant destroyers. And there was this great meme where it was just like it was a scene from South Park where it was like they took our gerbs and then just dipped them in the
Jesus.
in the goo. Because that was all about. They're like, well, what happens if the mutants they don't need humans anymore,
Yep.
right? It was like we see these trends of like, oh, if this culture or this race of people start coming up, then they don't need us anymore. So what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to fight this. We're supposed to, you know, kill all these different people because hey, they're gonna get rid of us, so we might as well do it first.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much, yeah. And then that leads to them capturing Magneto, and we have that scene where it's locked up, and Val Cooper, who was part of the UN,
Yep.
who was like pleading with Magneto, being like, "We had no idea this shit was going to happen."
Yep.
Now she's like, "Yeah, Magneto was right the whole time, and probably should have killed all of you."
Probably should have killed all these people, all of humans or something like that. Yeah, she was like, damn. She became empathetic and sympathized.
Yes, yes. When I think in like the either the show or the comic, she was a villain, but now she's
Oh yeah.
part of the good people.
Yeah, definitely had villain vibes the entire time.
And then switch it up.
Because she realized she made a mistake.
True.
She's seen the genocide. Ooh, I can't remember. Genosha. She saw the genocide of Genosha and she's just like, whoa.
Let's pause real quick. That Genosha episode was fucking crazy.
Intense.
Yeah. Very intense. And like out of nowhere, just all these sentinels start just destroying the city, killing thousands of people. And then, you know, spoiler alert,
Yep.
kill Gambit.
Yep. Kill Gambit. Super sad. You think that they
Can't
killed
feel it no
Magneto?
more, baby.
You feel like they killed Magneto and all those little kids too?
True.
Right. And so that was horrible watching him die. Right. And one of the young boys that was seen in here, he said, "This is why we hide. Because as soon as we show a little bit of love, a little bit of black joy, a little bit of gay pride, a little bit of trans affirming kids, right? As soon as we show anything, as soon as we show a little Palestinian hope, country, statehood, we're going to kill you now." And so you see that replicated throughout the eons with so many different cultures and races, not just white folks. There's a lot of folks that when you see this thing and now you're out, now people know about you. Before you could slither and hide and you're closeted, but you also die in that closet, in that cocoon, hidden in the shadows. You die because you're not living a true, authentic life. But then you risk dying as well when you're out. And you're visible and you're seen because now people can notice you. Now the media can be on you. And now you can be propagandatized into being the villain, right? And so that's what we see here is they murdered all those people and she turns and she's like, this is fine. I didn't sign for this. Like, what did you think was going to happen? You wanted the eradication of mutants. I mean, this is literally, you didn't think that they were going to die. You just thought you were going to put them in a fucking Guantanamo?
Also, all these years they've been trying to kill him. What do you think?
Oh, so fighting them and killing them is, but then when we murder them all when they're at like a wedding, now it's different.
I just wanted them to be like us.
You know, I didn't think they was going to look like teriyaki chicken when we nuked their ass. Jesus. Motherfuckers. That motherfucker looked like chicken. Well, sweet and spicy looking motherfucker.
Yeah, sweet and spicy.
You know, side of rice.
Oh my God, all right.
I'm hungry as shit.
I hear it.
I hear it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So I told Spence I wanted to do this scene. Also, Magneto like unleashes and then stops all the bots instantaneously.
Yeah.
My God.
Mm.
Oh my God. My man.
It's like this ends now.
Goosebumps. So we're gonna again another little pivot. So you see the things going on in the news today. So we've talked about past stuff. We talked about current stuff with LGBTQ rights issues. You can relate to trans-related things and how like they're enemy number one. You could talk about how we hate a lot of brown folks in general when it comes to like immigrants, and what's going on now, but also the past. We always switch the pole on who we hate and why. Everyone, we take turns hating people because it's who we want to use as propaganda to elect political people in office based on whatever propaganda is out there. But, you know, Irish people went through it. You know, Jewish folks go through it. Black folks, brown folks, Mexicans, Arabs, even religions when it comes to Muslims, right? Protestants. Doesn't matter. Everyone always selects a reason why they hate someone.
Mm-hmm.
Drug users, thugs, criminals, blah, blah, blah. Poor people. Fucking up everything, poor people. You're taking government handouts. It's bullshit. It's socialism for the rich and it's capitalism for the poor. So those rich companies get fucking so much in government loans. Besides the point. You see the stuff going on in the news these days, Spence, and it's wild, right? You see all these deaths with a lot of defensive people, majority of those being young children being slaughtered. As folks know, right, I'm Lebanese. They share the border with that Palestine there. And, you know, my grandpa used to work in Palestine. He lived in a small place right across the border. He would walk a few days, work for a few days, then come back for a few days. Then he immigrated here in like 1940, I think the date is, right, via Ellis Island. And then went into, you know, I think the Detroit Flint area with his uncle to work. Thus started our family lineage. So you're watching this stuff, and my father's talking about, you know, all these kids out there, Spence, protesting. All these kids protesting. All these white kids. Me and Spence saw the massive protest when we was in Chicago. Remember little Caitlin? We saw that. It was awesome. Yeah. So I've never seen that many Arabs in one place. I never. And you see all these folks sticking up, and a lot of white kids on these campuses, these college campuses, and it's crazy. And my pops was like, to think if your grandpa could see this, my dad could see this. He'd be like, what? Like, we're finally getting representation of like the atrocities that have been happening for years and years and years and years and years, the slaughtering of people, the taking of houses, the settlements or resettling, stealing land. It's interesting. And you hear a lot of folks like Mark Lamont Hill writing books and talking about it, which also, you know, lives over in Palestine for a few months out of every year, not just writing about it, actually living there, because there's a lot of black folk in Palestine. And it's just really interesting to see what's going on now. I told my father, I said, there's a lot of queer folk out there too. He said, what? There's a lot of queer folk out there fighting for the rights of these Arabs. I think a lot of people need to take heed of that. A lot of Muslims need to take heed of that. Look at this. Look at the people that are fighting for rights, human rights. I get it. Things happened, right? And a lot of Jewish folks were killed. But now things have changed. And now we're talking about the famine. Now we're talking about legitimate war crimes, not terrorism, war crimes. It's just interesting. You know, Spence, we sending food there now to Palestine. Food, tons of food. Food, first aid, medical supplies, but nothing can get in because Israel controls it all. So none of it can get in. So now we giving billions to that country and we giving millions in food and aid to get to these people that got nothing, but then it all goes to Israel because they've shut down all the borders and they've bombed and blew out all the docks. So you can't get in by the water or the ground. So now you just see the babies dying and you see the dads and the moms. He shows me the feeds. I told him to stop watching it. He keeps watching it. The dad's crying and their son's under rubble. I'm like, why? Because he doesn't want to turn a blind eye and then he's furious. I mean, I get it. Because it's a privilege thing to turn off the news. But I'm also like, you're a little divergent, man. You need to, it's traumatizing you. You're having nightmares. You need to back off. Yeah. So why do I bring this up? Because it's interesting. Me and Spence just talked about genocide, and yet now it's another genocide that's happening. And someone in my office, white lady, goes, well, it's complicated. Well, what's complicated? Well, it's a long history. What's long history got to do about right now? I get the long history. I get there's terrorism. I get all that. What's that got to do right now? And so everyone goes quiet because they don't want to say nothing because I'm the only Arab in the entire office. And like, I ain't mad because people see me. I ain't mad. I'm actually sad. So this scene, it's interesting, Spence, because he got the number from Auschwitz. And he's been kind of genocidal to protect his people, but then he becomes better. But people are always genocidal, and his current people, which are mutants. It all kind of feels like it plays into what's going on today as just the eradication of a people and population right before our eyes. Mm-hmm. And it's not just happening there. It's happened in other places too. Yeah. Currently. I sent Spence a reel, and it was talking about resistance. You agree with all these shows. You agree with like Star Wars and the Resistance. You agree with Divergent and the Resistance, right? The Hunger Games of Resistance. You read all these books of these dystopian worlds where the poor folks are getting shit on and they rise up. But then when it comes to happening right in front of you these days, then you don't resist. So Spence talked about it where people don't want to lose their jobs, this and that. There's a lot of stuff at stake. Yep. But not even mentally, though, people will resist. And a lot of these folks are just talking about not funding these corporations that back the state of Israel. We're not talking about the Jewish population. We're talking about the governmental state that is committing war crimes, not the people. Governmental state. And so they're saying, don't buy shit at Starbucks, don't buy things like here, here, and here, right? I was like, okay, money could help.
I just don't, me personally, I just don't see that because it's not staying power. People are going, correct. Like if Coke, like Coca-Cola, right? The company Coca-Cola, if they came out and they're just like, well, fuck everybody, like fuck you. Yeah. Like if they came out as a company and just said fuck you to everybody, people are still gonna buy Coke.
Still gonna buy it.
Doesn't matter. They're such a big company. Their products are in everything. Like you can't go without buying something that's made by Coke.
Yeah, same thing with like Frito-Lay. They own everything.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you stop doing that? How do you stop? And it's just, it doesn't seem to me like that's going to be something that's going to happen. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't do anything, but not buying products, that's not going to stay. That's not a staying power thing. You're going to, at some point, buy their products. At some point, you're going to do this and that. Whatever. To me, I don't think that's a staying power thing. I don't think when people say, hey, don't buy these things, people are going to buy them. I don't give a fuck what you say. People are going to buy them.
People will buy them.
And yeah.
This is the old school stuff, though, that Martin Luther King used to talk about. Malcolm X used to stop buying the shit that they're doing because money is the power. And so when you started converting the minds back then, of course, it was a lot less conglomerates and control. So when you stop putting your money somewhere, then those people did suffer. And that's when a lot of the stuff started suffering. When he wasn't just advocating for black folks, he was advocating for all people, economic power.
Right. Well, I mean, and look at all these businesses that we have that are black businesses, that are, people of color businesses. We don't fucking invest in there because we're so used to going to Target.
It's also true.
It's cheaper.
It's also true. I think about that when I go to the comic book store. I'm like, man, I'm buying this shit here, man. It's $20.
Yeah.
Well, you can
Yeah.
go
Like,
on
why would I?
Amazon. It's like $5.
Yeah, exactly. So now they got us to where it's like, well, now I have to think about how much I pay for this, even though one is a huge company that doesn't care if I buy or not. And
Mm-hmm.
this other one that's a mom and pop shop that needs the money more than anything.
Correct. So it puts you in a bind, the economic one, the buying power. Because what can you do? What can you afford? There's other ways to invest and think about how you can create change based on what you watch, what you do, what schools you go to, what are the politics you abide by. I know for a while people like were boycotting the Starbucks, and they did see a drop in sales, which did affect their bottom line. It did. Then when it happened the first time around, and then everything keeps moving on. Yeah. You see all these schools like Columbia, right? So everyone's getting mad and wondering, like, are they going to, the white folks, Jewish folks, are they going to keep funding these schools, right? The big donors. And like, we're not sure. Because now the schools are going to lose money. So now they're like, hey, man, we need to shut these kids up because now, right, everything comes down to money and economics.
Yeah.
And so people are putting stuff on the line now. These kids are doing these protests at the universities. And so a lot of international kids here at Purdue, right? But a lot of the kids that are speaking up aren't international kids that are outside protesting. Because our president was like, hey, man, you do this, we're kicking you out. You do this, we deport your ass immediately. Okay. Other schools haven't said that and done that. Okay, I live in a super red state. Like, we ain't playing that shit here. Where New York's like, we'll give you some time. It's interesting to see how the economic powers of these Ivy League schools will change. It's interesting how these Ivy League schools are heavily international. So that's why you're seeing these protests. And they're putting some shit on the line and getting suspended and kicked out at graduation. Michigan had a walkout, a lot of Arab kids. Right, it was all over the news the other day during graduation. So it's intense. So besides the protest and that and money, and also maybe who you help. So me, like, doing a pivot instead of helping all these kids at my school, I'm going ready to do a pivot, help brown kids. One of my students, it was a long year, touch and go with if they were going to end their life. They did. And so they give me this Funko Pop of Groot, which I told Spence, and they wrote a letter and they said how much they loved me and how much I helped them in so many ways. And they said, hopefully in your next place, you'll help little brown girls like me. I was like, whew. The fact that I get choked up, that means that this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So right when we move, right, we'll focus, we'll pivot. It'll be autistic folks, brown folks, poor folks. So that's how you create change, right? I go use my talents in these places.
Yeah.
You go pivot into Detroit where you're working with a lot of Arabs. You're working with a lot of Mexicans. You're working with a lot of black kids. So now you're making change. So I think about that and how magnificent it is. Besides the point, there's these protests, right? And then, but what are they mad about? Like my father is talking about, why do all these kids care? Why do these white kids care? Why do all these queer kids care? Why do they care? It's because no one wants to see people get murdered.
Yeah.
That's why they care. It's not because they're just supporting Arabs or Muslims. That's not what it's about. They don't want to see children in these things that you're watching get murdered.
Mm-hmm.
Because most humans, doesn't matter what your politics is, doesn't matter what your gender is, doesn't matter what the fucking melanin in your skin is. Most humans don't want to see other humans get murdered. Most humans don't want to see drones and robots get launched and then murdered and hospitals bombed. That's just a human thing. No one wants to see that. Spencer doesn't want to see that. I don't want to see that. No one wants to be like, oh, yeah, a couple thousand people died today. Like, that doesn't feel good. And me and you don't stew over it, but like no human is like, oh, this was a good day.
Right.
In history. Because to me and you, it's a good day because, we're having good days personally. But history-wise, it's a stain. So it's been interesting conversations with Pops and other folks. Why are these kids? You watch Fox News. Why do these kids even give a shit? Because they don't want to see people be murdered.
Mm-hmm.
But the Arabs are terrible. Okay. So them kids, it ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Terrible. You creating people that hate an entire city and culture and nation now. You're creating terrorists. you're creating Magnetos. Now, hopefully, they won't go full Magneto and like try to kill everyone. Wow. Yeah. But that, I mean, you want to know how to create someone that is evil, incarnate, is because that's all they knew when they grew up. You showed them hatred and vitriol. You didn't show them love. You took away their parents, their family, their siblings, their friends. And so you might say some horrible shit, deaf to this person, deaf to that country, deaf to this culture. You might say that. I'm not saying I sympathize with those people and saying those things. I'm not saying that I'm advocating for more war. I'm just saying it's human rights, human life. As the clip we saw from Malcolm X, Spencer, as a human being, you deserve love and respect as a human being. But we don't do that. In this nation, other nations, I'm not just shitting on America, another nation, we just don't fully do it. A lot of people do. Let me be real. A lot of people do. Not everyone doing horrible shit. I end on this. My father comes out to me today after watching this movie that fucked him up a lot, about a lot of abuse and like trauma, a lot of anti-queerness, a lot of sexual assault stuff going on. And he said, is there really this many women that go through this stuff? The childhood stuff? And I said, yes. He's like, you tell me about it here and there. I said, is it for? I said, yes. He's like, this is just a fucked up world. I said, yes. Some people see a dream. Other people see a nightmare. Spencer, you pointed out that scene in Holdovers. For some people, it's just shit, and it's a ladder, and it just fucking shit rolls down the ladder downhill. It's horrible for people. Me and you are lucky as hell to be born in America.
Mm-hmm.
Be born
Probably
dudes.
The best time to be born in America.
Yeah.
Right? We have so many luxuries, so many things that we can watch and just do and everything. Yeah.
Blessing. Right in the old days, your mom and dad. Oh, right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
they both
when my sister
killed.
was born, there was a Klan rally in front of the hospital. So,
see,
yeah,
sus. So, right, folks complain about things today. It was real bad then, but in other places in the nations, not our nation, it's real sus. I mean, shit. I saw there was a Klan rally the other day. And it was Charleston. It wasn't, I'm not sure if it was West Virginia or Charleston, like Carolina, something like that.
Probably Carolina.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, they full tiki torches. What the fuck's up with these guys in the tiki torches?
I don't know. They just really, really clung on to that.
I know. So we can see them in the dark? Like, motherfucker, take off your hood.
Well, first of all, they're white, so you can see them.
I know. True.
Believe me, if I see a group of white people, I know what they look like. I'm just like, no.
Bobby, is that you?
Bobby, take off that hood, Bobby.
I can't remember who said it. If it was Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, or I don't think it was either one of them. I actually think might have been. Or the magnificent writer. Oh my God, what's James Baldwin? We said, these folks ain't wearing the hoods no more. These folks ain't saying all the horrible shit no more. They're the officers. They're your judges. They're the teachers. They're the bankers not approving your loans. They're your medical doctors. As we see in this show, the hatred wherein they're getting ready to have a baby. And you say, well, no, we ain't serving no mutants here now. Mm-hmm. I was like, gee, well, I'm surprised you didn't zap his ass right there, Cyclops. So this ties in a lot of mental health stuff, a lot of Arab stuff, a lot of human rights stuff. I don't think that the show was meant to touch on these things, but then if it didn't, then why would it reflect back on his Auschwitz number?
Yeah.
It's talking about the hatred of people.
I think it did, honestly. And that's why X-Men has been it's still such a huge thing today, because it touches on so many different human rights
atrocities
categories, and no matter what, you can always go back to that. And I think it really did cling on, especially when you're talking about going to like the UN and telling them like, hey, our people are fucking dying.
We're
Help
doing
us
that
out
now.
Here.
Spencer, sorry to cut you off. We're doing that now. And people said, no, it's fine.
Yeah. And that's why, and I think that's why, maybe that was one of the reasons why the creator kind of left. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe. Hopefully it wasn't anything sus. Usually when they get fired like that super quick, it's a sexual assault thing.
Usually, he also might have had an OnlyFans, and
Oh, okay.
Disney's not very keen on having people like that on their stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really dumb thing to fire somebody over.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens, what comes out
We'll see.
about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
you're right. So maybe this was at the twist. I never put all the genocide stuff together until recently. I've been
Yeah.
watching the shows for years. It all makes sense. We hate the mutants. I'm not now. Wait a minute.
mhm.
Because this is the first genocide that I've really seen. I mean, I've seen a few things, right? There's been some weird shit in different parts of like Africa, right? South Africa too, right? So there's been some weird shit.
Right.
But this is crazy. I've seen the abduction of women and children in some of these states and nations. This is huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to talk about it. It's the first time I think we've talked about it like blatantly, me and you on the pod. Some other people have brought it up.
Yeah.
And I guess this is like a small thing that I'll do, but my thing is I'm putting my money behind what my people.
Mhm.
As she wrote in that letter, little brown girls like me. I was like, damn. I emailed her and I was like, you son of a bitch.
You a son of a bitch.
You a son of a bitch.
You a son now. You son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. And I can just see her face too. Just a smiling. So now I know my entity, my humanity, Xavier, the part of Xavier that courses through me is burned into her soul. Greater is the chances that she won't ever take her own life.
Mm.
Well, that's fucking amazing to think about that. Like I gave her a shot to do what she needs to do. So I wish there were more people that would do that. Be Xavier, be good, be kind, be loving. I know a lot of you have a lot of bigoted shit in you, and as do I. But maybe we can learn to be more like Magneto at the end there. Don't make me do this. Make me be a better prove to me that I can be a good person. Right? We all have the ability to change. As Spencer said, Malcolm X changed. He went and learned pilgrimage and changed. If you haven't watched the podcast we did on Malcolm X, I highly recommend that you check it out.
Yep. Great pod.
All right, boss man, you got any seasoning?
No, I think we're good to go. Thank you everybody for watching. Like I said before, let us know what character you think you are. Who you think you embody as an X-Men.
Who embody?
Who you embody? You rogue? Like what rogue are you? Are you the thick rogue back in the old animated show? Or are you this one that's Slim Pickens?
Which one is Rogue? Is she the
one?
Is it
She's
the
like the southern one that can like take your powers if she touches you.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Rogue. Okay. Oh, that's right. So she was young in the movies. She was younger.
Yep. She was young, and then she had that like white stripe.
Yep.
With her.
And then
red hair or
Jean's the
whatever.
badass that can kill everyone, the strongest one out of all of them.
Yeah, and then she turns into Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
And literally kills everybody. Anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Go hit that like button and subscribe.
Like it up.
Subscribe. And go check out our merch. We have some great stuff on there. I ordered my Be a Man stuff. It'll be here hopefully soon. So I'll be starting to wear it also. So,
there you go. Be a man. Cry.
Be a man. Yeah. Right there.
You saw me get choked up today, you fuckers.
You a man and you cried. So there you
go.
So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Spectrum Podcast.
All right, everyone. Peace. Much love. And remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't. What the fuck?
Balloons?
Why? There it is.
Oh, it's the peace sign. And then the thumbs up makes you go black? There it is.
I'm dark again.
All right, everyone. Peace.
Bye.